It's about to. Here we
Oh,
go.
there you just took forever.
Yeah, it's all good. It's time to breathe again on the latest Breath of Fresh Air webcast. So, um, with Patrick, I'm Charles, and we have a lot to get to, Patrick. So we're just gonna jump right in. Um, we will get to the NBA playoff stuff and the action in a little bit, but first, there is an NFL draft coming up on Thursday night from Las Vegas. Go figure. It didn't seem too long ago that the NFL didn't want anything to do with Las Vegas, and now they want to hold all their events in Las
Oh,
Vegas.
now we're just going to be in Vegas.
Yeah, they're going to move their headquarters to Vegas. Uh, but
Of course.
the draft, but the draft is in Vegas, and it hasn't received a whole bunch of hype. Now, I think the main thing with this is because the quarterback class doesn't seem to be the best from previous years. And I mean, for me, personally, that's not really a big deal to me. I know you feel the same way. That you're just worried about the draft as a whole. And in terms of depth, this is a nice draft. There's a lot of players, a lot of quality players out there. You
Mm-hmm.
can get in the second, third, fourth rounds. This is a deep draft.
Yeah.
So just because there isn't no quarterbacks or lack of quarterbacks who could you could build a franchise around, I guess that's lacking there. But again, I think all the quarterbacks, or at least the majority of them, are overrated anyway. It's because they play the quarterback position. So we'll just go here, Patrick. Your Falcons are number 8.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking for them to do? Do you think they should trade down? Do you think they should keep the pick and just start building a team that way? What do you do? Now, full disclosure, y'all know I'm a 49ers fan. We don't pick till the second round. So we don't even have a first round pick. So
Yeah. Y'all traded good to get y'all did a good job to get ready your first round and got who y'all got. So,
yeah.
so I would not be crying whatsoever.
No,
Plus y'all went deep in the playoffs, so
it's true.
y'all are fine. And honestly, 49ers really they don't really quote unquote need a first rounder. I mean,
Yeah, I feel good about our roster too. I do.
I feel y'all got a really good roster, and if y'all stay healthy, that's a dangerous roster. I mean, look at what y'all did even with the injuries. You know
I
what I'm saying?
know.
So if y'all have a healthy squad, y'all are definitely like a solid. I'm not going to say that y'all are Super Bowl favors, but I definitely say y'all are a solid to really definitely make a run for a Super Bowl. So honestly, y'all don't really need it. Us, on the other hand, we need probably 4 or 5 or maybe 32 first round draft picks, apparently, because. Well, I will say this. Let's start with this. I was really excited that we got rid of Matt Ryan. A lot of people are like, "You're crazy. I don't know why we got rid of him." I'm glad we did. Because I really think, I've been saying this for years. I think Matt Ryan has been stunting Atlanta's growth for many years. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm just saying that he's just not our quarterback. So I'm not like hugely happy with who we got with Marcus Mariota, but mm,
Stopgap. Stopgap.
I mean, you know what? It's like this. Let's play with him. Let's play with him. Let's build a good team. I say keep the 8th pick and let's just build from there. Yeah, I think we probably will need a quarterback in a year and a half, or 2 years. We'll say a year to 2 years. I don't think Marcus is. I think he is there just to fill a void. Somebody that can actually throw a football right now instead of trying to instead of putting a wide receiver out there. You know what I mean? So I'm fine with the 8th pick. I don't know who I would pick yet. I really haven't like paid attention to the like who's the favor in the draft and all that stuff. But it's I'm fine with the 8th pick, and let's just see where we go from there. Because I mean, this is from what I have noticed, this is very heavily defensive driven draft. And like you said, it's a very deep draft this year. And I mean, I was talking to one of the guys, and he's like, dude, there's like even 4-star players that are going in the second and third round. I was like, interesting. So I have it pulled up. I'm actually fixing to look at a couple of them. I know Trayvon Walker from Georgia is probably going to go pretty high. I would assume.
So all right. So with him, real quick, Patrick. So with him, he moved up fast in the rankings, and he might
late round.
Yeah, he might be the number 1 pick now overall.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Let me click. Let me see.
Hey, that's what's being widely reported. Like, that's not me making that up. That's
crap, dude. They got him 2 right now.
Yeah. So he is looked at as one of the.
Aiden Hutchinson is projected to go 1.
Yeah, depending on the mock draft that you look at.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, a lot of people have different variations of it. But of course, Jacksonville is sitting there as the number 1 pick. And me personally, if I'm Jacksonville, I would go offensive lineman there. And because you have Trevor Lawrence there, build around him, protect him. A lot of drafts that I've seen, the mock drafts, have them taking either Hutchinson or Walker. Now, what the reason why Walker has moved up so quickly is because of the upside. A lot of people think he has some great upside. And in the defense like Georgia's, I mean, it's kind of hard to showcase because Georgia just has so many people. So that defense was ridiculous last year, as we know. So the pass rushing skills maybe wasn't as showcased by Trayvon Walker as it could have been on another squad. But the workouts, I guess the interview process, he killed it. And he's up there with one of your top prospects in the draft, period. Hutchinson is looked at as the safe pick. The guy where you're going to get that lunch pail mentality. He's going to work hard and he's going to put together a solid career. But most people think that about him. But if you want that splash, maybe Walker's the guy, or Kayvon Thibodeau might be the guy too. Now, we remember when the season started, he was supposed to be the number 1 prospect by far. Remember all that they're saying about Thibodeau? Thibodeau was supposed to be the man.
Right. I didn't hear anybody else.
Yeah. Like, it was untouched
for a while.
Not even a question with this dude. And now they're saying he could have a Jadeveon Clowney type career. Which, look, that's not a bad career. I mean, Jadeveon Clowney is
probably better than that.
Yeah. I mean, he's done pretty good. But, I mean, I guess he's been with 9 teams. Okay. Four off the top of my head. Because he started with Houston. Then he went to Seattle. He was with Tennessee and Cleveland. If I'm missing somebody in between there, let me know. But I know he's with those 4 teams for sure.
Yeah, that's the only 4 I can think of.
Okay.
Thank you. No, I mean, no, they talked about him highly, and he's still in the top 10 right now. So I don't think he's going to have like a Clowney type career, so to speak. No, I mean, he was pretty solid in Oregon, dude. I watched a lot of those games, man. I mean, like he kept them in a lot of games. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. But
yeah, people were saying his effort's not all the way there, and I mean,
coaching puts it there though.
Yeah, I think the games where Oregon was getting blasted, they were getting blasted, and there was nothing he was going to do. When Utah beat them twice, there was nothing he was going to do there. Utah was just better. Now,
Utah was just a better team.
Yeah, and he didn't play in the game. Well, did he? No, he didn't. He didn't play in the game where they went to Columbus to beat Ohio State. He didn't play in that game.
Nope.
So I don't know. I mean, I just think there's a lot of talent, though.
There's a lot.
The lines are stacked. The receivers are stacked. There's a lot of receivers out there. A lot.
Yeah, and you know, it's crazy when you're talking about Malik Willis as your first quarterback going in the draft, and he is projected to go 21. That's kind of crazy, you know, to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think No, I'll take that back. Marcus is probably be a better fit for Atlanta than even going with Willis because they talked about even letting Atlanta might pick him up, and I was like, nah, I'm good with Marcus. I mean, look, we're just here to fill a void. I'm not looking for no playoffs right now. I just want to build. I just want them to build a good team, and let's go from there. So, no, to answer your original question, I'm good with 8. I mean, I could see us getting I could see us going definitely going defense with this most of this draft. And if we're looking at 8, we're looking at Kayvon. Uh, who else? So we're looking at Kayvon. We could look at Derek Stingley. I'd be happy with that. You know what I mean?
The corner from
Garrett
LSU.
Wilson,
Yep.
possibly. You know what I'm saying? I'm good with that. I'm fine. I mean, I probably wouldn't go with Garrett Wilson. I don't think we really need a wide receiver, so to speak, right now. Well, I take that back. We probably do. We probably need a wide receiver. We probably need a couple.
But receivers deep. You can get some receivers pretty good in this draft, man.
Yeah.
If you're gonna stock up, this is the draft to do it. I think this is a very talent-rich draft.
Jameson Wilson.
Yeah,
Or Williams. Sorry, not Wilson. Williams.
Yeah. So I mean, it deserves, to me, it deserves some attention for that. This is a deep draft. Who cares about the quarterback class? I mean, in my opinion, where they get picked, it is where they get picked. I know everybody's about the quarterbacks, but if any of those quarterbacks, whether we're talking about,
these wide receivers are sick.
Yeah, it's a lot. And so if you get like these quarterbacks, whether you're talking about Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Matt Corral, Desmond Ridder, Sam Howell, if you're talking about any of these quarterbacks, I think if you're going to pick them, at least have them go into a situation where they can grow and they can succeed pretty quickly. So for an example, let's say Malik Willis drops to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are picking at number 20. Pittsburgh's got a pretty solid team there, and they have a good coaching staff.
Mm-hmm. That's a good pickup for them. And they need one.
Because, I mean, they had Ben Roethlisberger last year who couldn't throw past 10 yards down the field. So you get a guy who can run. I know they signed Mitchell Trubisky in the offseason as well. Just have a quarterback battle between those guys and see who gets it. And so, I mean, I think it's just one of those things where if you're going to have these quarterbacks, look, none of these quarterbacks are worth the first round draft grade. They're not.
No.
If you want to talk about them, then no. But if in the right situation, if there is a team that decides they want to take a shot, I can see Pittsburgh doing it from the standpoint of their team is better all around. Yeah. But other teams, no. Carolina, like the Carolina Panthers, they're rumored to take one of these guys. They don't need to do that. Like you said, with Atlanta, they don't need to do that.
Pittsburgh needs to take Kenny Pickett, dude. I wouldn't take Malik Willis if I was Pittsburgh. I think Malik Willis would go in a couple other places a lot better. I'd take Kenny Pickett if I was, because that's going to be a closer to Ben Roethlisberger and matching that offense that you can throw at Pittsburgh a lot better.
So where would you see Malik Willis going?
Oh man, that is a good question.
Because I don't know, Pickett. I don't know. Pickett to me. Now, look, it would be a good story from the standpoint he played college at Pittsburgh. So yeah, you get a hometown product there. All right, cool. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like he had one good season.
And that was what
last year.
Was it last year? I thought he had a better season the year before last.
Well, I mean, he was a Heisman Trophy candidate for a little bit last year. I mean, he had never reached out.
So it was last year that he had a better season then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was going to see. Arizona really doesn't need a quarterback. Baltimore doesn't need a quarterback. Buffalo doesn't need a quarterback. Carolina really doesn't need a quarterback.
See, Chicago and those things Carolina needs. Carolina needs offensive line help. That's what they need. Their offensive line is bad, and I don't
since Cleveland needs a quarterback. Oh no, they just got Deshaun Watson. Never mind. Dallas quarterback.
Who?
Dallas.
Nah, they're good with Dak Prescott.
I'm sure they are.
I mean, look, I'm not saying Dak Prescott is great by any means, but Dallas has invested way too much into the dude for them.
Yeah, they have. I mean, honestly, I don't see anybody that really needs a quarterback.
I think a lot of teams need a quarterback.
Oh, well, yeah, a lot of teams need a quarterback.
But,
do they need a quarterback out of this draft? Not really.
Yeah, like, do you want to spend a first round pick on that guy?
No, I don't know. I mean, like you said, if Kenny Pickett is he only had one good year, and I really didn't pay too much attention to Pittsburgh. I did last year because he was like he was tearing up the field, especially in the beginning and middle of the season. But I mean, out of this, I don't see anybody that really needs a quarterback from this draft. I'd just stick to defense and build up my offense, and then see what comes out of the works next year. So, but yeah, again, answer your question. I think Atlanta needs to stay right where they're at and pick up one of those defensive players and be fine with that.
So before we move on to the next topic, Patrick, here's the thing with the first round. There is at least, let me see, this is off the top of my head, by the way. The Jets, the Giants, the Packers, the Chiefs, the Lions, Saints, and Eagles. All of them have multiple first round picks.
Let's see what I'm going to see if I can pull it up and see what we got here.
Like all those teams I just made have multiple first round picks.
The New York Giants have 5 and 7.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, look, the Jets, the Giants, the Lions, the Packers, the Chiefs, the Saints, and the Eagles. All of them have multiple first round picks.
And the Packers.
Yeah, I said the Packers.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Packers, Chiefs,
the Saints. Yeah, Jesus, dude.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs have 2, 29 and 30.
Yep. Packers have 22 and 28, I believe, which they got in the Devontae Adams trade. And the Chiefs got that pick from the Tyreek Hill trade. So, yeah, a lot of teams with serious opportunities to build on the team a little bit.
Yeah, especially like, whew, that's insane.
So
it's like out of 32 teams, only 20 is picking.
It's wild. It is wild. I've never seen that.
That's insane. Okay, so, yeah.
Well, so, yup, man. So it'll be interesting. It'll be fun to watch. So I'll be there watching to see where these players go. Like I said, it's a deep draft in terms of the talent pool. So it'll be interesting. And then there's going to be
I'm done.
There will probably be some trades anyway that happens before then. So it could be, look, Roger Goodell might want to camp out on the stage because he's probably
a lot. Just put a tent right there and be
ready. Well, all right, Patrick, we gotta move on, man, and let's talk about some of this NBA playoff action. So we'll do a quick rundown of the rounds or of the matchups. So we'll go through the West real quick. Just a quick rundown. Number 1 seed Phoenix in a battle with New Orleans. Now, of course, they've been without Devin Booker, but that series is tied at 2. They will play tonight in Phoenix, Game 5. Then the 4-5 matchup. Dallas is up on Utah 3-2. That Game 6, I think, is Thursday night in Salt Lake City. So, yeah, well, more on the Jazz in a minute. But your 3-6, Golden State and Denver. Golden State, it has a chance, could have swept them, but Denver staved off elimination. So that series is 3-1 going back to San Francisco, where the Warriors will have another shot to put them away. And then the 2-7 matchup, Minnesota and Memphis. This is a back and forth series here. Right now, Minnesota is up 73-64, and that series is tied at 2. And we'll see what happens with that game. later on, and maybe hey, we can get a score before we get out of here to update. And then, so moving on over to the Eastern Conference, looks like the Hawks are in danger there. Sorry, Patrick. Looks like they're in danger of getting put out by the Heat here. They're up. The Heat are up 79-68 with 9:40 left in the fourth quarter. So it looks good for Miami to move on. We'll see what happens in the last 10 minutes here.
Hopefully not, but
The 4-5 matchup. Oof. Philly 3-0 lead. It is now 3-2. And Philly doesn't look good. I'll just put it that way. They don't look good at all. Then the 3-6 matchup. Milwaukee, Chicago. Milwaukee's up 3-1. They have a chance to put that series away tomorrow night, Wednesday night in Milwaukee. And then it is the Boston Celtics, who, as we speak right now, is the only team to move on to the second round because they helped the Brooklyn Nets. Got them out of there 4-0. So with that note, Patrick, here's the debut of our segment. We're going to call this Come to Jesus because I believe there are a lot of narratives out here that just aren't true. And it's either not true or people are not putting them out there like they should. So I'm going to start with the Boston Celtics on this one because the narrative about them is this is an up-and-coming team that is just now finding their ways. That's not true. Because this core group, this core group with Jason Tatum, these three right here, and you can throw Al Horford in for the first time they went to the Eastern Conference Finals with this group, but the core of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Marcus Smart, they have been in the Eastern Conference Finals 2 of the last 4 seasons. They went in 2018, a game away from getting to the NBA Finals before they kind of collapsed at the end to the Cleveland Cavaliers that year. But you remember that year, they had Kyrie Irving on the team and Gordon Hayward on the team. Both of those dudes got hurt for the year. Mm-hmm. And then Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, they were able to step up and they almost got to the NBA Finals. They also almost made the NBA Finals in the bubble season. Yep. Got beat by the Miami Heat in 6 games. And they've been together, and here they are. They're gelling, and it looks like they're that series. I mean, we're pretty confident Milwaukee is going to move on. That series between them and Boston, that's going to be epic. That's going to be a very, very good series there between those two. But this narrative that Boston is just all of a sudden coming up out of nowhere. What? Really? What have we been watching the last 4 years? So that's the come to Jesus part. This core has had success. It's not like they haven't had success. They've been close to the NBA Finals. So this whole they're a rising, they're gelling, blah. No, they've been good for a little while, y'all. This just might be the best team they have around them this time.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you could put Al Horford in there in their first round, and truthfully, he is a phenomenal. What do they call him?
He's an anchor, man. Like a good anchor, a Swiss Army knife type of dude that can give you so much. He's just a solid pro. He's just a pro's pro.
And he complements that three tremendously well. You know what I mean? I will say this. As much as you said that they have always been great, whatever they're doing this year, I have not seen them do in a long time.
Oh, the defense.
The defense is amazing. Like they play switches. I've seen a defense play in years. That's 1. 2, they are so unselfish. So unselfish. I mean, if they see a solid 1% higher of a shot, they make that pass. I mean, every time. I mean, and they're just finding wide open people all day long. I mean, it's just I mean, they are clicking on. If you can click on every cylinder, that's your epic team of clicking on every cylinder in the game. They make smart decisions. I mean, when you look at what they did last night, they only had 3 turnovers the entire game. You know what I mean? That were like legitimate turnovers that they. Now, don't get me wrong. Brooklyn is going to cause you to have turnovers, but they have to force those turnovers. I'm saying Boston turned the ball over a stupid mistake 3 times, and it was just a bad pass that went out of bounds, or a pass that shouldn't have been made over here. It's something like that. You know what I mean? I only did it 3 times. I think when I looked at the overall stats, I think they turned the ball over 9 times the entire game. That's amazing to only have 9 turnovers like that. So this team is clicking on. They are just clicking, dude. I mean, and it doesn't matter who you put in there. Just like when Tatum came out, he came out on his 4th foul. He was out for 5 minutes, and they still ran that ball. Then he comes back in 3 minutes later. He fouls out, and they still ran that ball. I mean, it was not a problem just because Tatum was out, and the announcers are making this big, huge deal. Oh, I can't believe Tatum got fouled out. What is Boston going to do now? They're going to run their offense. That's what they're going to do, and that's what they
did. Yeah, I think that Boston, with the way they play defense, and they got their anchor back. They got Robert Williams back in the middle of that defense as well. That they look good. And Boston looks like a team that, and we said it already, but they definitely look like a team legit can win the title right now.
Yeah.
And that series with Milwaukee, I think that's going to be a really, really good one.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how everything transpires with that, man. But let's see. The next come to Jesus part is said Brooklyn Nets. Now, the reason why we got the Brooklyn Nets on here is because the narrative is, they have these great offensive players. They always have a shot. Look, here's the thing. Kevin Durant, he's not a leader. He's not. Sorry. He's not. He's a great scorer. That's what I'll give Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
But him being this great defensive player, that's not the case. Him being this great rebounder, that's not really the case. He has some games where he will do it, but is it consistent? No, the only thing that's really consistent with Kevin Durant's game is scoring. Kyrie Irving gets all this stuff about him being a great offensive player, but the ball doesn't move with it in his hands. And above all else, Kyrie Irving is a team chemistry killer. He rots your team from within. That's what Kyrie Irving is. And if he's not out there, I mean, every now and again he's out there, but most of the time he's either hurt or aloof somewhere. This dude will pick up and leave. Like, he'll just leave and no one knows where he is. Yeah. You can't build no chemistry with a player like that. Kyrie Irving has not done anything when LeBron James has not been on his team. And that's a fact. Like, that's not me trying to have any hot take or whatnot. Look at his career. Dude has been in the league for 10 years. Wasn't doing much before LeBron came there. And look, I know Kyrie hit a huge shot. Huge shot. Game 7, 2016 Eastern NBA Finals. Helped Cleveland win that championship. I get it. Got out of there, went to Boston, rotted that team with his quote-unquote leadership. And then he's been garbage in Brooklyn with his leadership. Garbage. But this is a bigger part about Brooklyn and their thirst and their chase to try to get a title. We can go back here, Patrick. Remember when they actually moved to Brooklyn? So this was 2012. They signed Darren Williams for all that money. Mm-hmm. And then they made that trade with, ironically, the Celtics to get Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce to come there. Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce at that point were aging players. Just way over. Yeah. I still think the Celtics have some draft picks from that trade that they still have to use. Like the Boston got a bunch of picks from there. And so I still think they have picks. I think they still got a pick in 2024 they got to use from that trade.
Yeah, and I think because they ended up with like crazy amount of draft picks and a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think it was like totaled out to like 4 first-round draft picks, 4 or 5 second-round draft picks, 6 or 7 third-round draft picks. I mean, like they got everything, and that was it, and there was multiple teams involved in that. So, I mean, they did
it was just them. It was just them. It was just those two.
A couple more, or like one more in there.
Nah, it was just those two, man. It was just those two. Yeah.
Wow.
Like you look it up to just make sure I'm right. But now the trade happened in 2013, and yeah, Boston got a haul for that. But the main thing is, Patrick, the Nets. Okay, so after that, so you had no resources. So then you went through the tank years. Basically, you were tanking for a little bit, but you started to rebuild the team. And you had young guys. You had Jared Allen. You had Spencer Dinwiddie. You had Karis LeVert. Starting to build the team like organically through draft picks. And then all of a sudden, here comes 2019. Here comes Kevin Durant. Here comes Kyrie Irving. You already knew Kevin Durant couldn't play that whole year because he had blew his Achilles out, unfortunately. And then Kyrie Irving is off and on out of the lineup anyway. So to me, if you're Brooklyn, maybe some front office shakeups need to happen. I don't know, because this whole chase, I get it. Everybody wants to try to get a ring quick, but the people you are bringing in have to be leaders. It's one thing to have talent, but can you lead that talent? If you are Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, can you look these dudes in the eye and say, get on my back, I got you? And too many times, I don't think so. You can't depend on a guy in Kyrie Irving who you're not even sure if he's going to be there. You can't depend on that guy. And Kevin Durant, he's getting older. He's getting older. And then that Boston series, as you mentioned, Patrick, Boston was running circles around them out there. Circles. They were just younger, quicker. Oh, and that's another thing about Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Marcus Smart. All those guys are still in their mid-20s.
Yep. And you have to look at Kevin Durant and you have to look and say, did he really have a good series? No. He really had a good game 4, point-wise. But other than that, he didn't have a series. Neither did Kyrie Irving. Nobody had a good series on that Nets team.
The Brooklyn squad.
No. Now, when you look at Boston, on the other hand, I think there was like game 2, they had like 6 players in double digits. Game 3, I think they had 6 or 7 people in double digits. It was one of those games where they just had, like that whole entire team might as well have scored a triple-double. They just ran Brooklyn out.
So Patrick, another thing with that on that same note as well, Kyrie Irving, remember he had that great game in game 1. Well, offensively great game, scored 39 points. And then after the game, he was talking about that energy. Boston fans for showing me that energy. I'm going to give it right back to him. After game 1, Patrick, he was a practical no-show. A no-show through the rest of those games. Had, I think, 10 points in game 2. 10 points in game 2.
Yeah, he shot horribly in game 2. I don't even think he shot that good in game 3.
He didn't. I think he had 16 points,
16
something
points.
like that. He didn't.
And I think
it was a no-show.
14 of them came in the first half.
And so don't talk that mess.
So
don't talk that mess if you ain't about it. He was just talking so much mess. Like, I just look them in the eye to see if they're about it. Well, apparently, Kyrie, you didn't want any of that action either.
Yeah, you closed your eyes, bro.
Yeah.
You closed your eyes, flipped them off, and kept running.
Exactly. So the coming to Jesus meeting is that Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, not the dudes that everybody wants to say they are. They're not. They're not.
There's not.
Kevin Durant he got those rings. We know what happened. It's not like you can look at his numbers and say, well, hey, he was a 2-time NBA Finals MVP. But we all know that Golden State culture was well set in stone.
And that Golden State culture runs through Curry, not through Durant.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear it. Everybody would tell you, "Oh, well, Kevin Durant was the leader on that team." No, he was not. Curry made all the decisions. Curry knew what he was doing. Curry ran that offense. Kevin Durant was just a byproduct of getting a ring. That's all he was.
He just had to do what he does.
Yeah,
go in there and score. That's it.
And as long as you go in and score, you'll win because you've got 4 other people that can score on that team just as well. And then you got Steph Curry who's changing algorithms for EA Sports. So no, he didn't do anything. That Golden State team was well-rounded. Whether they had Durant or not, they were going to win that game, those series. So I don't want to hear it.
So Patrick, all right, man, let's get on with our next team for the Coming to Jesus meeting. We're going to talk about the Utah Jazz here because the Utah Jazz, it's time. Now, if you go back in the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel, you will see from last year, I had a segment. You weren't on this particular webcast. I think you were either out of town or you just couldn't make it. But I had a segment on there called Run It Back or Break It Up. And Utah was one of the teams, and I said they need to break it up then. You mean to tell me you couldn't beat the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard when he got injured? Yeah, it's time for Utah to break it up. And it's just showing more and more now. They had the Dallas Mavericks without Luka Doncic for 3 games, and they were down 2-1. So came back, they got a good win in game 4, and then they just got absolutely housed in game 5 Monday night. Lost 102-77, and it was worse than that. Dallas was up. Their lead was up in the 30s. Like, it was destroying Utah. And now Donovan Mitchell has a hamstring injury. The MRI came back negative. We'll see how effective he is. But Utah just looks like a team. They're ready to go, and they need to sever. They need to break that up. Coach needs to go. Get Quinn Snyder out of there. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, one of them probably need to go. That team is regular season good. And that's it. That's all they are. Regular season good, not going to amount to anything in the playoffs. We got to also keep in mind, Patrick, they had the number 1 seed last year and went out to a Clippers team without Kawhi Leonard. That right there tells me all you need to know about
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
write it in a book and then move on, dude. No, I agree with you. I think they need to. I think they need to blow that team up and really start pick a few good players and build around them. But they need to blow that team up because it's. I mean, what did they lose last night? Like 100 Monday night. Like
102-77.
102-77.
And it was worse than that. Like Dallas was leading by 30-something points, man.
Yeah. I think they need to blow it up. I agree with you. Especially when you got 3 games with Dallas without their best player. And you're still 3-2 Dallas winning the series. Come on. Yeah, time to blow it up. Last year the best player was out. This year the best player is out, and they still can't handle business. That's all you need to know right there. Blow it up, start over. Let's go.
All right, man. And then our last team for the Come to Jesus, they're actually playing right now. The Minnesota Timberwolves.
Woo! I thought you were going to say the Hawks, which actually do need to too. I will say that. I'm going to add them in there, and I'll say my piece after this.
All right, well, we're going to have to be quick with it, Patrick, and I'm going to be quick with the Timberwolves too. So, okay. Look, this team is here. It's been a little bit. I know Karl Anthony Towns, he's been kind of up and down, but it looks like he's starting to step up. And Anthony Edwards is a star in the making as well. Right now, they are up 85-77 in Memphis for potentially a 3-2 lead. This Minnesota Timberwolves team, I think, is for real. And they get another player in there in the draft. Now you definitely have a nice duo and tandem that you can build around. But regardless of what they do in this series, whether they win or lose, Minnesota, I think they're going to be something to deal with because they got cornerstones now.
Yep, I agree. Well, are you done?
Yeah, I was through.
Okay, so I'm going to throw the Hawks in there as well, and this is the reason why. I think they're a great team. Don't get me wrong, but I really think that they need to think about players that will gel better together. Look at what they're doing to the number one seed in the East, or yeah, the number one seed in the East with the Heat. The Heat is a great team. Right now, the Heat don't even have Butler on the court because of the inflated knee right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're hanging in there. Don't get me wrong; they're down by 9 right now, but this tells you they're a good team. They work well together. They're not gelled the way they need to be to contend with the Miami Heat. I feel that they need to look at maybe trading like maybe Capella and getting something a little more sustained underneath. Maybe look at trading Collins and getting something, maybe getting a couple of players, because you can probably get a couple for Collins that will fit in that lineup better. Look, Atlanta has a strong team. They proved it year. I mean, look, if you're going up against the number one seed team and you can and you're doing, and a lot of people are like, well, they're not really doing that well. They actually are doing well in consideration because they're not a team to match up against this team. The Miami Heat's just better. They're all around better. They're faster. They're stronger. They're more endurance. They're built for playoff play. I don't think Atlanta is. And they're deep.
Miami too.
But look at how well Atlanta has played them. Even though they're probably gonna. It looks like we're getting close to a 4-1 game or a 4-1 series. But Atlanta needs to get some players in there that will help them sustain long, deep runs in a playoff. So there's my bit.
All right, man. Well, so that will conclude our come to Jesus segment. That will come back a lot more because these narratives out here, it's crazy. The narratives that are out here, they're just I don't understand them, especially when the truth is kind of right in your face.
No, right? Blaring you right in the face.
Well, Patrick, let's move on over to the NCAA real quick, and then I have a MLB topic that you're gonna like as well. So
I got an MLB topic that you're gonna like as well.
Well, so look, we got the NCAA president Mark Emmert. So he's gonna step down next year. Now, I'm just gonna say this: seems pretty convenient. You want to step down now with all the stuff that is going on, especially with two things in particular: name, image, and likeness, and the transfer portal. And all of a sudden, because look, this to me is the beginning of the fracturing of the NCAA. When people start stepping down, when people start moving positions, you're
when
seeing
there's no jobs
fraying.
left.
Yeah, you're seeing some fraying now. You're seeing some decay starting to happen, and the decay shows by jobs either getting lost or positions getting moved. And this is just the first step of that, as far as I'm concerned. We said a lot of times on the show, with name, image, and likeness, especially, the NCAA now is becoming obsolete because they can't. Because now the players that now they can get what they think they're worth now. They sign whatever NIL deal with the car dealership, a restaurant, whatever. I mean, and you're seeing also the effect just from people saying they're going to return to school. You remember in basketball, you know how that is, one and done. Most of the time, these dudes are gone. I know two players from North Carolina, Baycott, Armando Baycott, and Caleb Love. They're coming back. Now, you know, if you had a team that almost won the national championship the year before, oh, you're probably they're gone. You're just like, yo, I already got the national spotlight there. I was on the Final Four stage. Hell yeah, I could go to the pros. Bye.
Later.
But these dudes are coming back.
See you in the NBA.
Yeah, but these dudes are coming back. So I just find it kind of, I mean, it's not surprising to me, and I'm sure it's not surprising to you, but it's just the beginning of the of the after effects of it. The NCAA knows they can't do anything about it now. They know they can't hide behind the whole student athlete thing anymore. People are too smart now. People see what they're about, and they can't hold it back anymore. So now, man, I don't want to deal with it anymore. I'm stepping out. Oh, it was good when you're getting all that money. Yeah. Garbage. But you know what? Good riddance as far as I'm concerned, because you know how we feel about the NCAA, one of the most corrupt organizations out there.
Yep. I can name a few others, but we won't.
Yeah, we know it. Y'all heard us enough. Y'all know who it is.
Look, it's like this. I mean, we talked about super conferences. SEC is fixing to create the first super conference, and there's nothing the NCAA can do about it. And with the whole NIL, they literally gave their power away when they signed and said that you could do that. So I mean, truthfully, with him stepping down, this is about 2 years earlier than I thought he was going to step down. I thought he was going to stay around for a couple more years. But look, it's like this: NCAA is obsolete now. As soon as they gave those rights away for the NIL, and now you got a super conference coming in, starting in quote unquote 2025. Ain't nothing they can do. He might as well step down and move on with life. Get that severance pay while you can, because in 2 years there ain't no severance pay. They're gonna be like, we can't afford it. You're fired. Step in my office. Why?
Go belly up.
Yep, go belly up.
Yeah, and so this is the beginning. There's gonna be more positions getting moved. You're going to see some of these other people who are in the NCAA. Don't be surprised if you see them popping up in some positions at other colleges, maybe becoming some of those. What we see is super conferences that's going to start happening. I mean, we both think it's going to be pretty much 4 super conferences in college football anyway, because we don't think the Big 12 conference can sustain with them losing Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, now they're going to try. I mean, they done bought some other teams
coming in next year. So that's
Cincinnati's going to come in. I think BYU is coming in. Central Florida's coming in. And I want to say Houston, it will be coming in as well. So let's check something real quick.
94-97.
Oh, they're making a run.
94-97, 40 seconds left.
To try to keep their season alive here and send the series back up to Atlanta. But
game.
Yes,
because Jimmy Butler will be back.
Yeah, but yeah, man, I just think it's the beginning of the end here. And this step down, which I guess is supposed to be effective next year, 2023. I guess is when he's supposed to step down. But 2023, now that's another date, because that's when we both think Texas and Oklahoma will come to the SEC. And
you got one more year. That's it. Because once because next year the Longhorn Network's out.
Yeah, their contract runs out there.
Write it up. After next year, Texas and Oklahoma's like, how much to buy out of this? Because we need to move.
Well, Patrick, hey, let's jump on this topic with MLB. So I saw this literally about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago before, and it is the unveiling of the Yankee letter, the unsealed letter. Now, it has been found by MLB. And by the way, before I go on, they hid the truth about this, that the New York Yankees were sign stealing themselves. So this was in 2015, 2016, before any of the stuff with the Astros, with the Houston Astros came out. They were stealing signs. They had a phone system, which I guess was similar to the one you heard about with the Boston Red Sox and the stopwatch. But apparently the Yankees were doing the same thing. Now, this is key because you have heard the Yankees general manager, Brian Cashman, going off about, the Astros cost us with their sign stealing scandal. But yet, y'all over here doing the same thing years before, and y'all didn't win. That's the thing about it. The Yankees didn't win anything. The Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009. So
They
I
must
mean,
suck at it then.
yeah. So, but I can't believe that. Look, Brian Cashman. You know what? STFU Club. He's a
Yep,
new member right away. Hey, there we go.
absolutely, without
We're
a doubt.
thinking on the fly, y'all, live and in color. Brian Cashman, STFU Club. All that complaining, all that whining and did, and just dude, the letter is everywhere, Patrick. Like I saw it on Yahoo Sports, but that letter is everywhere. And what is in it? Just you could Google Yankee letter. It is everywhere. But the thing is, the Major League Baseball hid that. They hid that. Did not have that reported anywhere. So it's like really MLB. So we're gonna crack down on these other teams, and then we just sweep that
Let
under the rug. With
let the Yankees just coach right up underneath that.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
let that chill since that's your most valuable franchise because it is. The Yankees are top what 2, 3 in
Two.
most valuable franchises in sports. The
Two.
Yankees
I
are
think they're two behind the Cowboys.
yeah. So
If they're not, no, they're three because there is a hockey team that's number two.
a hockey team, okay.
I think so, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know the Yankees are 2 or 3.
Yeah, they're 2 or 3. I definitely can tell you the top five without a doubt.
Yeah, Dallas is number 1 for sure.
Dallas is number
And
one by like 500 million.
dude, $6.5 billion now is what the Cowboys are worth.
Jesus,
6.5 billion, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's insane.
are you serious, MLB? My gosh, man, wow. That can we start to put them up there with some of the with some corruptness?
Probably should.
I'm waiting for Sticky Gate. Waiting for Sticky Gate to come back up again.
Oh, it will, so they can get past this whole letter thing.
Got to change the
remember
narrative.
Sticky Gate? We need to go back into that.
Yeah.
Like, bring the PEDs back. We got to get past this. PEDs was so much easier. That's insane.
So the main thing is this, man. I mean, the Yankees, so the public had no idea the Yankees had stolen signs. The public had no idea. But according to the report that was done by the MLB, and I'm reading this from the story in Yahoo Sports, this is what was said by Manfred. The Yankees used the dugout phone to relay information about an opposing club's signs during the 2015 season and part of the 2016 season constitutes a material violation of the replay review regulations. By using the phone in the video review room to instantaneously transmit information regarding signs to the dugout in violation of the regulations, the Yankees were able to provide real-time information to their players regarding an opposing club's sign sequence, the same objective of the Red Sox scheme that was the subject of the Yankees' complaint. That's crazy. Now, if you remember with the Red Sox, that was supposedly in 2017, 2018 when they were doing this. And that's why Alex Cora had gotten in trouble as well. Because, of course, he was on the Astros roster as a pitching or as a coach. And then the next year, he got hired by the Red Sox, and the Red Sox won the World Series in 2018. Yep. But this was back in 2015 that the Yankees were doing this. That is bad business all the way around.
Yeah, and then all that smack talk to the Astros. Put another mark. The reason why I can't stand the dang Yankees.
That is awful. And again, Brian Cashman, GM, STFU Club, dude. Yeah, you're in there. You're
good. Well, welcome to the club, dude.
Yeah.
All right, my turn.
Yeah, man. I was gonna say we have a few minutes left, man.
I got it. This won't take me long. Shout out, Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah,
number 33, dude. The 33rd person to be Mr. 3000. Shout out to this dude. He did it. It took him 20 years. 20 years. Shout out. I cannot believe. I was super excited. This is the last time, or this is the latest of since 2018 when Pujols was the 32nd person who hit 3,000. But we got to take it a step further. He is the 7th in this club, 3,000 with 500 home runs. Congratulations on that. Now let's take it one step further. He is the 3rd person, the 3rd in MLB history. Only 3 people have this. 3,000 hits, 500 home runs with a 300 batting average. How about that? There's only 2 other people that's in that. Willie Mays and Hank Aaron. So shout out to Cabrera for making some history, man. That was exciting. I actually got to see that 3,000th hit, man. I was like, as soon as he did it, I was like, that's it. That's the one. So shout out to him. I had to do that because the being the 3rd person, and obviously he's got to maintain that 300 batting average for the rest of his career, however long he may play. But shout out to him for achieving such an awesome feat and keeping MLB, some positivity in MLB.
So real quick, Patrick, before we get out, who do you think was a better hitter, Cabrera or Pujols? I asked because this was a debate that I have heard on multiple outlets. So what do you think?
I'd have to say Pujols. Pujols did defeat. Well, hold on, let me take that back. A better hitter all around, or just a better power hitter?
All around.
Cabrera, without a doubt, he is a better hitter. He is sustained not only in batting average, home runs, 3,000 hits. Pujols never did that. You can't even put Pujols in the top 7 who has 500 home runs and 3,000 hits.
I am with you there with the consistency part. Cabrera has been consistent.
I take that back. I'm sorry. Pujols is one of the top 7. I'm sorry. He is one of the top 7. He's not one of the top 3. So I have to say Cabrera is because of his batting average.
I just think with Pujols, man, it's almost a tale of 2 careers. He had the 10 years in St. Louis, which he was phenomenal there in St. Louis.
Phenomenal player, yeah.
And then he went to the Angels, and he just started to decline. The first couple of years were decent, and then now he's just struggling to even get to, it seems like, 125 batting average. So, it is good to see him back in St. Louis.
Yeah, he's got one more season. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's got more hits than Cabrera, and he's definitely got more home runs. So if we're talking about powerhouse hitting, Pujols all day, every day. If we're talking about consistency, I'll go with Miguel.
All right, Patrick. Well, hey, man, before we get on out, let's give a quick update to the scores. The Miami Heat have joined the Boston Celtics in the second round, winning 97-94. And Minnesota winning by 8 now, 99-91 with 6:07 left in the 4th quarter. So real close game, or a good game there in Memphis, and we'll see who comes out with the 3-2 lead heading on back to Minnesota for that game 6. So with that, y'all, everybody,
congratulations, Stan, on your first round. Good luck on the second. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, well, shoot, man. Hey, I mean, Memphis might not make it. That was y'all picks to come out the West, right?
Mine?
Yeah.
Memphis?
Yeah.
Was that my pick?
I think you and Stan had Memphis coming out of the first round, or out of the to the NBA Finals. Excuse me.
I don't think I had Memphis. I think I had
Yeah, Memphis.
Did I have Memphis?
Yeah, Memphis.
I'm gonna go back and check. I think I got it written down somewhere.
All right. Yeah,
Memphis.
Yeah, Memphis. But
I probably did.
Well, while Patrick's finding that information, y'all take care. And that concludes this edition of the Breath of Fresh Air Webcast, the latest edition. But go visit, please. Visit the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and keep the likes coming on the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page. So everybody take care, have a good rest of the week, and we will see you back at the same time next Tuesday. God, we'll be in May next Tuesday. That's crazy. But yeah,
May 2nd.
that's crazy. Everybody take care, and we'll talk to y'all soon.